Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I think we'll start the program off this morning with an old Irish saying this morning. You're not as young as you used to be, but you're not as old as you're going to be. Morning, everybody. There's some good news. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Call in now. And a good morning to you and your family. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course, our program sponsored by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations with all the tires you need for some safe wintertime driving. Don't forget also some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and may I extend to you and your family a very Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for helping out this morning.
Merry Christmas to you and a safe Christmas.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much. We've got a lot of things to do this morning, and we're going to start things off with our weather forecast brought to you by K&R Rental. Oh, they've got all the heaters. You know, I'll tell you what, this weather really cooled off, I'll tell you. And right now, I've got about 17 right here at my place. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn on the Burley-Paul Highway. They've got all the heaters, and they've got all the sewer snakes. They've got all the tools and equipment you need. Please give them a call. They get there early in the morning if you've got questions about what your needs are at 678-3122. K&R Rental with Roger and the crew. Right now, here's the weather.
Well, it seems though we've hit a cold snap. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron sitting in for Gina Jameson. For today, we're expecting mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to be around 25. Then for tonight, going to have some fog rolling in with a low around 11. Then for tomorrow morning, patchy fog, then clearing off a bit, going to be mostly sunny. Highs only going to reach around 29. Then for Friday night, partly cloudy, lows of 14. Mostly sunny on Saturday, a high of 32. Saturday night, lows of 13, mostly sunny for Sunday, and a high of 31. As we head back to work on Monday, looking for partly sunny and a high of 33. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron.
Scotty, great job. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And the weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And they, believe me, they've got all the best of rental tools and equipment. Call them if you want to find out more information, 678-3122. And they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Merv May, come on in here for a minute. Let's hear that chant.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there, here to $1.31 moment.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer. Thank you, Merv. Appreciate it. At the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy at the sale that works for you. Here's some of the cattle that are going through the ring today. Eric Kasel of Rogerson bringing in 140 head of real ripping good mixed cows. Chip and Kathy Molyneux over to Cary up in that cold snow country. 170 head of calves. Josh and Bill Reese of Antelope Creek. My goodness, they're out in the Wild West. 40 head of calves coming in. And a semi-load of calves coming out of the Logan, Utah area. Butcher cows coming into the ring today from Ward Dairy, Acme Dairy, Funk Dairy, and Antelope Hills Dairy. And don't forget, next Monday, that great big special bred cow sale at Burley Livestock. Sale time today at 10 o'clock. Don't forget it. Merv, come on in here and sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5.
Well, I'll tell you what.
134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and I sell them $1.35. Zeb Bell, get the bottom again.
There you go. I'll take that bottom. Thank you very much. We've got a lot of things to cover this morning. And one of the things I want to mention first and foremost, a lot of people, unfortunately, I don't think are even going to mention it in the national media. And I think that's absolutely a disgusting shame. Tomorrow, I am not on the air on Fridays, as you know. But I want to mention that tomorrow, December 7th, a very important part of American history with the commemoration of Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. I urge you to tell your children and your grandchildren all about it. It's observed annually in the United States on December 7th to remember and honor the over 2,403 citizens of the United States who were killed in the Japanese surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii on December 7th, 1941. Tomorrow, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Please take a moment, bow your head, and pray for those lost Americans. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, light up the phone lines. Want to remind you, too, about Ramsey Heating and Electric. We'll be talking to Rita a little bit later on this morning. And, of course, they're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley for literally all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. That's not brag. That's a fact. And they've been in business over 6 decades, serving you and, of course, with excellent professional people. Please get a hold of them today, 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And they open the doors at 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. You get a hold of Ramsey Heating and Electric. Oh, and here's the note. I had a lot of calls yesterday. I did, about our great big Christmas party next Thursday, a week from today, at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. They're located at 611 North Overland in Burley, and the very best of breakfast, lunch, and dinner anytime, all the time, with wonderful people serving you. And next Thursday, we're going to be broadcasting our show right from Denny's Restaurant, and it's our old-fashioned Christmas party. And we're going to have Christmas carols, lots of prizes, lots of neat prizes, too. Santa Claus is going to be there. Thank you, Sandy. And Loot in the Boot for the needy families in the area, and music with Ashley Ludlow. All of that at Denny's Restaurant next Thursday for our remote Christmas broadcast from America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant. Everybody try to be there. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There have been stories in the news in the last 4, 5, 6 months, right in that area, about how there are various groups and various factions and supposed medical breakthroughs to where you can basically order a test tube baby and not have to worry about certain diseases or problems or Down syndrome. There have even been people, and this just, I'm really going to have to measure my words here a little bit because I'm so frustrated about this. There have even been people and various groups that have said that abortion should be allowed the moment that you hear that there's the potentiality of having a Down syndrome baby. I may get pretty emotional on this morning. I don't care. But last night on television, and I've seen this young man before on television with his father. There is a Down syndrome young man. His name is John. And he, along with his father, started a sock company. Literally, it's John's Crazy Socks. And they are. They're of all colors, all shapes, all cartoon characters, everything you can imagine. And the business has taken off like gangbusters, and I believe they have now expanded to where they have over 35 full-time employees. It was the idea of a Down syndrome boy that's now into his early 20s and his father. It's been a huge success. And he, the boy, even contacted President Bush, H.W. Bush, and before his passing, they supplied socks to President Bush. And a pair of those socks will be in the coffin for eternity when they have the funeral for President Bush today. But that's not the gist of the story that I want to talk about this morning. I watched the interview last night of this Down syndrome young man on Martha McCallum's show. And then at the very end of the interview, with the father helping the son, maybe if he had some trouble putting some ideas together in speech for various answers to questions to Martha, at the very end of that interview, they were talking about the love that George W. Bush had for George H.W. Bush, father and son. And the Down syndrome young man, this is tough. The Down syndrome young man looked to his left and said, "I love my dad very much. He is the best dad ever." There is no way you can replace that love and that meaning of that love from father to son and backwards, father to son and son to father, as what we saw displayed on television last night, with a Down syndrome young man that many of the absolute no respect for life people want to see those lives diminished or extinguished. I was so impressed with the father. I mean, he has to be one of the most caring and loving and patient and helping men on the face of the earth. But the bond between his son, the Down syndrome young man, and him was as strong as any steel. And when the boy looked at his dad and said, "I love you, Dad. You're the greatest dad ever," I lost it. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Excuse me. Want to give you Christmas wishes from our dear friends at Butte Irrigation, 116 South, 600 West of Paul, and their other location at Red Cap Corner on Kimberly Road. Your Zomatic dealer for all your irrigation needs. They will get you wet at Butte Irrigation. Also, Golden Valley Warehouse at 468 West, 1000 South of Burley. They want to thank all their customers for their business, and they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas, Golden Valley Warehouse. And Snake River Auto Body and Paint, 404 4th Avenue West in Twin Falls. Ken, Dan, the whole crew. Got a little ding in your four-wheeled wonder? Well, they can take care of it. It'll look brand spanking new. They wish you a Merry Christmas at Snake River Auto Body and Paint. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Please don't go away. Don't forget, on Tuesdays, we have, of course, the Stoats Ag Minute. Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer, at 9:46 on Tuesdays. Vic and the whole crew, they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Your John Deere dealer, they make your life easier at Stoats Equipment Company. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. I have had the pleasure of knowing probably a half a dozen kids, adults with Down syndrome, and other diseases like autism. And those people are such a blessing. You learn so much from them. Their heart is pure. And I pity the person that thinks it is a burden to raise one.
I'm going to find it hard to talk about this, Doug, but I went to school with a Down syndrome young man, and we got a little feedback on the line here, Sean, if you could ride that gain a little bit. This young man, every day when the class started, he would get up and open the door and hold it open for all the students to come into the classroom. I mean, it's little things, little nice things that were done that you never forget.
That's exactly right. And the love that they would return to you and the appreciation, that you were showing them that you were a friend was double coming back your way.
Yeah.
I mean, just the sweetest people. I know a young lady that works for a company in Rupert, and you go in there and she is very personable. She can articulate what she wants to say to you, and she's just a pleasure to talk to.
Yeah. I like I told you last night, I don't know if you saw that interview on Martha McCallum or not, but when I watched the love between the father and the son last night and the respect, and I thought to myself, couldn't we all be blessed to have that kind of a relationship with our parents?
Well, we all can learn from these people because, like I say, they have a pure heart and unstopping love that for their parents and for other people.
Absolutely.
They do not ever say a harsh word to somebody. They do not ever do a harsh act. Oops, I got a customer.
All right, my dear friend. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Doug. I'll talk to you later. Appreciate that. I don't want to live in a world that is controlled by people with insidious desires to eliminate other people because the other people, just don't fall into their respective little niche. They don't fall into their respective little categories. They don't fall into what they think is the perfect person. I don't want to live in a world like that. God's given me my life, and I will fight those other kind of people that want to diminish and extinguish other people that they just don't find worthy. I'm going to fight these people as hard as I can. You should too. Everybody brings something, if you will, to the table. And really, God is the only judge. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Oh, these people are good. Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists, they really care. They really care. If you're coming in and trying to recoup from an injury, an accident, a surgery, whatever, they can and they will help you. Please give them a call today and let them help you get back to being you at 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. I know somebody else that wants to wish you a very Merry Christmas, and that's our friends and your friends at Ark Animal Hospital. Oh, my goodness sakes, yeah, I tell you what, they're located at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. And Dr. Bill, Dr. Jordan, they just really tell you that if your pets and your animals have some health problems, get a hold of them. Call them, 678-1177. That number again, 678-1177. And don't forget, for all your pets and livestock outside, in these cold temps, please provide lots of water that's not going to freeze up right away. Make sure you've got some heated buckets and tubs, etc. Please take care of them. Ark Animal Hospital in Hayburn. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Really, I would appreciate a call. I don't want to live in a society to where we're picking and choosing. I don't want to live in a society that's Hitleristic to the point where if you're not blue-eyed, blonde hair, 6 foot, 220, you got to go. Can't have you. I want to live in a world like what I saw last night, with a son and his father expressing on national TV how much they cared for each other. And just so you know, there is a website. I'm just going to give them a plug, johnsocks.com, I believe it is. And I personally am going to order quite a few of these crazy socks and support this young man. I was so moved by what I saw last evening. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please give me a jingle. There is another very dim, not very bright Democrat back in New York that is a state senator. His name is Kevin Parker. And I was really taken aback last night as I watched him on television. He has introduced a bill in the New York legislature that would basically say, whatever you and I and other people say, he's going to start it in New York in hopes that it gets national attention. Whatever you say or write on social media should be inspected. Key word right there, inspected by the state police to see if they, the state police, will let you buy a permit for a gun or own a gun. Now let's break this down a little bit. In our society today, the left absolutely is bent on destroying and burying the Second Amendment. The left is absolutely out there trying to take our guns away and our ammunition away in a gunless society so they can have complete control. You know that. But when you have the state police, like mentioned in this man's bill, in a fascist-type attitude, saying, John Smith, you wrote this. John Smith, you said this. You are not worthy of having a gun or a permit. What's to say they don't just put a great big red X on everybody? And you have a fascist Gestapo attitude. I see it coming. The state police, that's scary in itself, could determine that no one owns a gun, that no one can protect themselves. And that's just the kind of a state none of us should want to live in. What are your thoughts about this bill? And when he was pressed for some various answers about the bill and the application of the bill and how it would be determined, he was very evasive. Most of the Democrats that introduce folly-filled bills like this, they don't have the IQ to really back up their statements. He did not. What are your thoughts about this? Please give me a call. By the way, this Saturday, December 8th, don't miss the second episode of the Lavoy Finicum documentary discussing the Oregon standoff. It's going to be at 5 p.m. at the King Fine Arts Center in Burley. No admission charge. That is this Saturday, December 8th, second episode starting at 5 p.m. at the King Fine Arts Center. Don't you miss this. Want to remind you quickly about everybody sleep in this morning? What's going on? I'll hope the phone lines light up. Dino Septic Service, my goodness, they serve the whole valley, and they've expanded their business to better serve all of us. Septic tanks pumped, septic tanks and drain fields installed. They've got water and sewer lines they can install, mainline irrigation installation, septic inspections, liquid waste removal. The list goes on and on and on. They are the best. Dino Septic Service, and the numbers to call 436-6526 or in Burley 678-1638. Don't forget, with that big truck that says Smells Cargo on the way, Dino's Septic Service, serving you. Really, really good people. Caller, I will be right with you. I also want to remind you there is a special cow sale, and this is going to be next Monday. Now, today is sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Don't forget that. But next Monday, they're also going to have a special sale. It's the third annual bred cow sale. It's Monday, December 10th at 11 o'clock, and they're going to have over 1,200 really good quality cows and heifers, top genetics, mostly one-iron cattle. And, boy, if you want to help your herd, increase your herd, start a herd, this is the way to go. Call Cade Rogge for more information at 431-0074 or Burley Livestock Office at 678-9411. Monday, December 10th, 11 o'clock. Don't miss it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. People think gun confiscation can't happen. They're wrong. It happened to me.
Really?
I came from overseas back in 1955, and I was discharged out of Great Falls. I walked into a gun shop, plopped down $85, picked up a Smith & Wesson K38, brought it back to New York, and shortly afterwards, someone had called the police department and said, "Oh, this fellow here's got a gun at home." So I got a call from the police department. "Oh, come on in and register it. There'll be no problems." So I took the gun up there to the police station, and that's the last I ever saw of it.
Really?
And the desk sergeant said, "Oh, well, maybe you can possibly get it back, but you'll have to do it a legal way." So I just happened to contact an attorney about it. He says, "How much did you pay for it?" I says, $85. And he says, "For me to go to court and try to get it back for you, it's going to cost you probably $300 or more." And he says, "I can guarantee you'll never see that gun again."
Tony, under what...
Everybody thinks that confiscation can't happen. Forget it.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question, Tony. What reason was given to you, or what factors came into play that they took the gun away? I don't understand that.
We got the Sullivan Law back there. Didn't matter that I was a serviceman at that time. I had 8 years military service, and I handled all kinds of guns. But with the Sullivan Law, you cannot have it.
You know, New York State, and especially New York City, under the really not very bright mayor, Bill de Blasio, and the former mayor, Michael Bloomberg, seems to be one of the hot spots that is causing and creating more problems for the Second Amendment. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Once you get people like him into office, it's going to be an ongoing battle.
Well, I'm very concerned about this because when you turn things over to a quote-unquote state police force to determine who can have a gun or not on what you say or what you've written, boy, I tell you what, that's a fascist state if I've ever heard it.
Well, they can say, "Well, you're 70 years old, you're too old to handle a gun," and all this stuff. Well, hell, I'll be 89 pretty soon, and I got more on a ball than a lot of young people.
That I can attest to.
You know, you can't use that as an excuse.
No, I absolutely agree with you, and I'm so glad you brought that up. So basically, you bought a gun legally, and it was taken illegally, and it was never given back.
That's right.
Tony, I appreciate that story. I do. Thank you, and to you and Mary, a very Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome, sir.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
It can happen. It probably will happen in this country if the Democrats ever regain power in its entirety, the House, the Senate, and, of course, the presidency. I really fear where our country can go in a backward state, running backwards, after the Trump administration's tenure in office. I hope that we get 8 years out of this office. But if we get the likes of Schumer and Dick Durbin, and, of course, a lot of the high-money people that are supporting them, like Tom Steyer and George Soros and many others, coming in after the Trump administration and basically taking over, whether it's through the frivolous stupidity of climate change or something more sinister like taking our guns and just basically feeding us, the American public, to the wolves because we can't protect ourselves anymore. I'm really scared of the Democratic Party. Your thoughts. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Sean, during the break at 9 o'clock, if you'd call me on my cell phone, I'd appreciate that, my friend. Don't forget, we also have some Christmas wishes this morning from Representative Fred Wood, District 27, Seat B. Fred has really worked hard in his tenure as representative for the state of Idaho to help his constituents, and they in turn thank him for all that he's done. He wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Also, we're going to be talking to Sarah and the crew over at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn, and she's coming up at about 9:06 this morning. They wish you a very Merry Christmas. So many people coming in and so many people stopping over to the Chamber. Great folks. Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Mountain Transmissions at 1146 East Main in Burley. Oh my goodness, these are good folks. Free towing, free diagnostic, and free estimates at Mountain Transmissions, and they wish you a very Merry Christmas. And last but not least, our thanks go out to Senator Kelly Anthon, District 27 Senator, doing a great job. And I'll tell you what, he thanks everybody that voted for him. And in return, we thank him for a job well done as he wishes all of us a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. It's the yummy man with the menu for the very senior center. Today, we're having pulled pork sandwich and pickle beets, coleslaw, and apple crisp dessert.
Ooh.
And we'll have, you can call in and order a takeout meal. It's only $5. Best value in town.
Well, it is. You said you're going to have apple crisp?
That's right.
Ooh, Joe, that sounds yummy to me. That sounds yummy to me, old buddy.
All right.
Thank you, Joe. God bless you, man. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. That's over at the Senior Junction, and evidently they couldn't hear that last part of it. Joe Taylor, Senior Junction, thank you very much. Good people over there. Kirsten Gillibrand. Oh, my goodness, how strange. We're going to go back to New York again. She is a New York senator, and she's a shining example of why the Democrats are coming apart at the seams and their stupid is showing. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental. They're located at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, and that's with Juan. This is a good guy and his staff over there. They really serve you at Barry Equipment and Rental, along with the other locations at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls with Eli and the Nampa location. You need to learn how to run a Bobcat. Well, all you have to do is get a hold, like in the Burley area, go over there, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, and you just tell them honestly, hey, I've never run a Bobcat before. They'll take you out in the backyard where they got a great big old sandbox, and they will teach you. I'm telling you. And by the way, if you want to buy a Bobcat, don't forget this, 0% interest up to 60 months. You stop in and see them today. The best of equipment rentals and retail equipment sales, Barry Equipment and Rental, Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. All right, calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Senator from New York, Kirsten Gillibrand, she made a statement the other day, and she meant it. She absolutely meant it. She said that forget about men, only female leadership in the future. Whoa. Evidently, she doesn't want to get elected. She has been thinking about flipping her hat into the ring to possibly become a Democratic nominee for the president. And to come out and say that, well, we don't need men anymore. She must really hate men. I don't know what her lifestyle is or her background is, but to come out with a statement that says, forget about men, only female leadership in the future. Really? I know in this area and across the United States, I've been very blessed to have friendships and acquaintances of families all across this country. And I know a lot of lady voters that would never just support their gender for the sake of the vote. Never. They're too smart for that. And this buffoonery and stupid statement of forget about men, in the future only female leadership, woo, that to me is like committing political suicide. I'd like to hear from some ladies right now. Would you ever just go to the polls? And I know that when Hillary was defeated, there were a lot of people, including Barbara Streisand and others, that, well, Barbara's not really the textbook of being intelligent, but Barbara came out and said, well, I can't imagine why women were so stupid and didn't vote for their own gender, or words to that effect. But I'd like to have some ladies call right now. Would you really, really go to the polls and vote for a person just because that person was a female, regardless of the politics and the stance on the issues? Now, you might say, well, Zeb, you've probably voted every time for men. Well, yes, I have. But if you'll think back before you get critical of me, back to before Obama took the nomination in 2007 going into 8, and listen to some of the archives of my program, you will find out that I was an advocate for Condoleezza Rice to run for president. I thought she was the sharpest knife in the drawer, by far, over Obama, and I thought she would have made an excellent president, as did many others, because of her ability to meet people, her ability to handle foreign and domestic problems, and I thought she would have made an excellent president. I would have voted for her in a heartbeat. So don't play the sexist tag with me. It's not going to work. But I'd like some of the ladies in the audience to give me a call, and I just don't think there's any, maybe few, in this area that would vote for someone just because, and that someone being a woman, just because of the gender. I find that hard to believe. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Right now, let's get a weather forecast in here while we're waiting for some more phone calls. And the weather brought to you this hour by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. They are located right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and they've got three great doctors of audiology serving you, and I mean that. Wow, they continue to expand to meet the community's hearing healthcare needs, and they've got Dr. Pickup, Dr. Hunsaker, Dr. Mitchell. They are good at what they do. Call them. Make an appointment, 312-0957. I'll repeat, 312-0957. And that's Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Well, it seems though we've hit a cold snap. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron, setting in for Gina Jameson. For today, we're expecting mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to be around 25. Then for tonight, going to have some fog rolling in with a low around 11. Then for tomorrow morning, patchy fog, then clearing off a bit, going to be mostly sunny. Highs only going to reach around 29. Then for Friday night, partly cloudy, lows of 14. Mostly sunny on Saturday, a high of 32. Saturday night, lows of 13, mostly sunny for Sunday, and a high of 31. As we head back to work on Monday, looking for partly sunny and a high of 33. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron.
Thank you, Scotty. And the weather brought to you this hour by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they are so good to you and your hearing health. Call for an appointment at 312-0957. They wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Really good good folks. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I know it wasn't the time or the place at the funeral proceedings yesterday where they were giving the eulogies and past stories about President George H.W. Bush. But I had a call yesterday morning on the air from a lady that was watching the funeral proceedings, and she called and she said when Donald Trump and his wife came into the church and walked up to the pew where we had 5 presidents sitting in that front pew yesterday, and I watched that tape last night. I watched it really closely. And when Donald Trump and his wife Melania went to the pew, you could see Melania being extremely friendly and forthright. She extended her hand to shake Mrs. Obama's hand and looked down the rest of the people in the pew and nodded and smiled. I've got to be honest with you, in a very solemn occasion, Bill Clinton looked at her and nodded. Hillary looked at her, and there was the faintest acknowledgement of a smile on her stone face. But as far as Donald Trump, and he was standing there acknowledging and nodding his head at all the people in the front row, Hillary's face turned to stone. And she did not turn her head from left to right. She looked straight ahead. And it was very noticeable. Some of the commentators on television tried to slough it off and say, well, because of the situation in the church and everything. No, don't give me that. I mean, at a funeral and the eulogies that were being given, some were very lighthearted, as they should have been. Some were very serious, as they should have been. But you could tell that there was so much animus in the face of Hillary Clinton, it was obvious. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. While I'm waiting for your call to come in, I want to remind you, too, about Hearts for Seniors. This is a wonderful idea that Holly Rowe has, and now it's off and running to help seniors that want to stay at home. That's right. Minnecasia Hearts for Seniors at 135 East 23rd Drive in Burley. The number to call is 312-5715. That number again, 312-5715. And Hearts for Seniors can help seniors at home with their daily tasks and maybe light housekeeping and running errands and that kind of thing. Please give them a call and find out more. 312-5715. Minnecasia Hearts for Seniors. Really, really good people. Caller, thank you. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. I'd like to make a comment about, I wouldn't just vote for someone just because it was the same sex or whatever. I'd like to comment on the Down syndrome.
Yes, ma'am.
How they have blessed my life. Years ago, in the 80s and 90s, I was a bus driver, and no one would take that bus route when we had to take special needs children to therapy or activities of where they need to go, and I was very blessed to be able to do that. Onto that, I had a young son that he would leave his friends playing to go play with one of our neighbors that had Down syndrome. And I thought to myself then, someday this boy is going to have something to do with special needs children. Years later, 2 out of 3 of his children were born with special needs.
Oh, my.
And bear with me right here. It's going to be kind of hard.
Yes, ma'am.
They didn't have Down syndrome, but they've been a blessing, and a blessing. I will repeat again. And our oldest grandson, we lost him in January to a seizure. And he would have been 16 yesterday. And I can't imagine my life without him and his sister. And for someone to say that these people don't need to be in our world, they're so inhumane and out of touch with reality. It just makes me sick.
Ma'am, I just want to jump in here, and you've made my life richer this morning because of your story. And I can tell by the tone of your voice and the verbiage, there's a lot of love in your family.
Yes, there is. Yes, sir.
From Deanne and I want to extend to you a very Merry Christmas. You're a very special lady to call in and share that with us, and you've made my day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeb. Merry Christmas.
God bless you. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Whew. That was tough. Nice lady. Very nice lady. A sharing and caring lady. You know, like I said earlier, I don't want to live in a world where we're dictated to by a certain few. And you come up to a fork in the road, go to the right, you live, go to the left, you die. I don't want to live in that world. But I will do everything I can, to destroy their thinking. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Hey, on the voting thing, I don't care what color you are, what gender you are, or how much money you spend. I vote for you because of what you believe in and what you are going to do for me and the citizens of this country.
Amen.
And I think I know who your previous caller was. And if it was her grandkids were so awesome and sweet. And if it wasn't her, the one I'm thinking of, her grandkids are so awesome and sweet.
I really want to thank you for calling in, and it gives me a real sense of community on this program of the love of all people in this area. And thank you, and to you a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I tell you what, I think back to that classroom. This is a long time ago with a Down syndrome child in our class. And he jumped up. He absolutely delighted in jumping up and holding the door for all the students. Or if something fell on the floor, I'll never forget it. In the head of the classroom on the teacher's desk, there was a kind of a coffee cup filled with pencils and everything else. And she knocked it over one day, and he about broke his leg jumping out of the chair to run up and pick up all the pencils and put them neatly back on her desk. And there are those that want to live in a perfect society and not allow that love to flourish. And it makes me sick. All people, all of God's children on this earth deserve our care and our love. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with all the tread designs, all the sizes, all the tires that you need for your cars, pickups, SUVs. Everything right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. By the way, I want to back up to brake service. Highly trained technicians that really know brakes. So please stop in and talk to them today about your needs for your vehicle. You stop in and see them today. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. They are absolutely the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Don't forget, next Thursday, a week from today, the old-fashioned Denny's Christmas at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. My goodness, we're going to be broadcasting over there live and direct for all 3 hours. And Christmas carols, music by Ashley Ludlow, Santa Claus, everything at Denny's Restaurant next Thursday. Caller, I've got exactly 45 seconds. Go real fast.
Yes, I just want to say I've seen an example of how these people with these special needs, like Down syndrome and all, they can still be productive members of society and still live a fairly normal life, too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
One guy that I know of, he has it real bad, but he's as strong as an ox. He was working at up at Oakley Stone last I seen him, and he was breaking rocks with a sledgehammer all day long.
Rodney, I appreciate your call. I do have to run to the news. I appreciate your call, all the calls this hour. And we're going to be back in about 7 minutes with more Zeb at the Ranch. We'll take it back over to our studios at this time. You know, I get so fed up every day, it seems like, of hearing about new scams that are going on in the area. All I'm going to tell you is this time of the year, the leeches and the ne'er-do-wells seem to crawl out from under their rocks and cause a lot of trouble with scams. Just please be careful, okay? Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and of course our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. We're going to have our guest and our visit with the Chamber of Commerce in just a few moments, but I want to, first of all, remind you there's going to be a great big pet Christmas party at Four Paws Bed and Bath Christmas Party Saturday, December 15th from 12 to 2. I think this is going to be a hoot. They've done this quite a few years in the past, and it's at 370 West 200 South of Rupert. You can bring your pet to the Christmas party at Four Paws and get a free picture taken with Santa Claus. I can just imagine, like I said the other day, with a Doberman Pinscher and a St. Bernard and everything. Oh, yeah, and all the elves. Free food for everybody, and you can spin the wheel to win prizes at a lot of fun party. Four Paws Christmas Party, Saturday, December 15th from 12 to 2 at Four Paws Bed and Bath over by Rupert. And they're nice people over there. Also, I want to remind everybody, as I'm kind of stumbling through here trying to find all my notes, I had one small little wreck during the news. I tipped everything over. All right, there we go. Here we have Christmas wishes from Nature Nursery at 120 East Highway 81 in Burley. All the home decor items, fresh cut trees. They can flock your Christmas tree, too. And all the outdoor lights, everything at Nature Nursery at 120 East Highway 81 in Burley, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Along with Rogge Auction. Hello, Ron, Cade, and Jed, the best doggone auctioneers around, serving you. And if you need something sold, farms, farm equipment, whatever, call Rogge Auctions, 431-0074. And they wish you a Merry Christmas, along with my old buddy, Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair at 635 21st Street in Hayburn. This guy really cares. I mean, this family really cares, and they want you to remember the true meaning of the season and also remember our seniors. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair in Hayburn, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Whoa, let's go to the phone line right now. And we have, I'll bet you she's got some new ever-ready batteries and she's ready to rock and roll. Hello, Sarah at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you this fine day?
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to buckle my seatbelt. Okay, hang on. I got to make sure the door's locked. Okay, Sarah, take it away.
Oh, thanks so much, Zeb. First off, the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce would just love to welcome our new Member Services Coordinator, Lorena Gaz, to our team here at the Chamber. She brings lots of membership coordinator experience to our team, and we're super excited to have her on our staff. So if you have not yet had a chance to meet Lorena, she's only been here since Monday. Feel free to stop on by and say hello and introduce yourself. She's so excited to meet everyone here. So we have some great events coming up that she will be at as well. We have our Ambassador Luncheon coming up this next Wednesday, December 12th. It'll be our last meeting of 2018. It'll be at noon at Maury's Steakhouse. If you're interested in becoming an ambassador for the Chamber or learning more about what the Chamber is about, this is a great time to do that. So noon, December 12th at Maury's Steakhouse. The following day, we're going to have our monthly luncheon, and we're going to call it Mingle All the Way. It's going to be right here at our Chamber of Commerce building, so don't be alarmed. I know we're not a restaurant, but it'll be right here in our visitor center. We're going to move everything out of the way and open it up and have a hot chocolate bar and some refreshments and a swag gift exchange. So if you're a member business, bring on over a piece of your swag for the gift exchange. Come meet Lorena, and we would just love to have you take a little downtime during the holiday season to just network and say hello to your business friends in our community. We're also gearing up for our annual installation banquet. It'll be held Thursday, January 24th at Burley Best Western Plus Inn and Convention Center. We're still accepting sponsorships. We have a few more spaces open and table sponsorships. We would like to thank DL Evans for being our title sponsor on that event, and it's always a great time to see the new member businesses and highlight some people in our community. And as far as recognize our new board members for the 2019 year. We would also like to say that our 110% club is going strong, and I'll be listing off those businesses this next week as to the participants of that. As far as our members, we still have some great things going on this holiday season. Idaho Water Sports is teaming up with Jack and Mary Zarbinski to collect lightly used clothing and distribute it to the Hope House Orphanage. You can donate those items to Idaho Water Sports' location in Burley or Nampa. It's 2165 here in Burley, or you can drop anything off here at the Chamber for food banks or coat drives, anything. Just tell us where it goes, and we will help you get those things where they need to go. Albion Christmas Festival is still going on weekends through December 29th. They have Santa, carolers, fire pits, wagon rides, coffee bars, hot chocolate, all sorts of great things. It's up on weekends. Head on up to Albion and get a little bit more of the Christmas spirit. We still do have Chamber Cash available for sale in our Visitor Center. It's a great gift idea for people in our community. If you don't know what to get them, they're available in denominations of $5, $10, or $20 and accepted at various businesses in the Mini-Cassia area, so it helps keep our local dollars local. If you're interested in that, just stop on by the Chamber and we can hook you up. We'd also like to announce that Minidoka Memorial Hospital will be having a ribbon cutting on Wednesday, December 19th. They just opened a new respiratory outpatient clinic. So they're going to have a ribbon cutting for that on 4:30 on Wednesday, December 19th. So we'd like to congratulate them. And I just love all of the holiday spirit that we're seeing. Zeb, we went to the Bama Christmas Parade on Monday with my kids and saw Santa light up the tree. It was so much fun. We had a great time in our community.
You're not done.
I think I might be done.
Oh, I don't know if it affects you the same way it affects me, but I'm sitting here and I'm sweating. I mean, you really go through these things and you do a wonderful, wonderful job. You never had one verbal faux pas. You really nailed it.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Now, I'm giving you all this praise, but then also I'm a little hesitant because I'm afraid to ask you about the weekly Sarah Groner.
All right, I've got a great one. I'm getting ready for Christmas. We've got the tree up. We've got the village up. I haven't started wrapping presents yet, but they're coming. So I have a Christmas joke. Are you ready for it?
No, but I'm going to take it anyway.
All right, Zeb, what do you call a kid that doesn't believe in Santa?
What do you call a kid that doesn't believe in Santa? I have no clue.
Well, they are a rebel without a clause.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, Zeb. Have a great day.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you.
No, rebel without a clause. I like that one. Callers are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I like that one. Don't forget, there is going to be a great big special third annual bread cow sale at Burley Livestock next Monday, December 10th at 11 o'clock. Over 1,200 good quality cows and heifers, top genetics, one iron cattle. And this is going to be a ripping good sale. Good heifers, good solid cows of all ages. Don't forget, for more information, contact Cade Rogge at 431-0074. Or call the Burley Livestock office. I about choked on my cough drop. I'm sorry. Burley Livestock office at 678-9411. Don't forget, next Monday, third annual bread cow sale at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard starting at 11 o'clock. And also, we want to acknowledge some really nice people that are so community-oriented. And that, of course, is Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff. They do so much in the community to help you and your families. And they know that when there's the passing of a loved one, everything just comes to a screeching halt, and it's so hard and difficult to know what to do in a short period of time. Remember the number to call them. They can and they will help you. 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. And Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Really nice people. When I talk about nice people, before we go to our Cassia Regional Hospital, I also want to acknowledge the fact that, Christmas time at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Oh, my. Hold on a second. I got to get this great big ad right here. I got to fluff it up so you can hear I'm not kidding you. And Santa's favorite place to shop is at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Listen to this. No money down, no interest, up to 48 months on approved credit. Wow. You can save a lot of money on sofas. Wow. You can save a lot of money on dining room sets. Wow. You can save a lot of money on recliners and all kinds of flooring and carpet. You'd better treat yourself to a Santa Claus present. You get in there to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Absolutely a Christmas store. Santa's favorite store, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Right now, I'm going to turn it back over to our good buddy Sean at the main studios as we listen to another of our many great people that are connected with and serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. Sean, if you would, please.
People caring about you and your health care in the most professional and progressive ways. That's Cassia Regional Hospital, located at 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. In a moment, we'll introduce you to just one of the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. Today's program, right after this. Cassia Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care answers and services. They're right here, close to home. That's right. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient and clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors. Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care, close to home. Once again, we get a chance to visit with the outstanding people at Cassia Regional Hospital, and we have another new doctor to talk to, Dr. Paxton Riding, and he is a podiatrist. My, Paxton, please tell us what that means and give us a thumbnail sketch of who you are and where you came from.
Well, it's nice to be here in Burley. A podiatrist is what most people probably know, a foot doctor. What most people may not know is that we do go up the ankle and even up to the knee for some procedures and treatment. So I'm originally from Rexburg, Idaho. That's what I call home. I was born in Logan, Utah. I have spent the last 8 years in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's where I went to school. At Temple University, and then also did training at my surgical training at a hospital system out there.
Well, it sounds to me like you're very well traveled and very well educated. A podiatrist, I mean, we don't hear a lot about podiatry. We hear about other functions and other medical procedures. Why did you want to choose podiatry?
Good question. When I was growing up in I would say 8th grade, I was on the junior high basketball team, and our assistant coach was a podiatrist. And so whenever somebody would roll their ankle, which I did plenty of times, he was always there to tape it up or, put a band on it or whatever. And he was always a real nice guy, so I found that very interesting. As I got older and in high school, he was a family friend, and I had decided to shadow him in his clinic a couple times, and I thought what he did was really cool. So as I went through college, made the decision that that's something I would be interested in doing. So as disgusting as feet can be sometimes, they're also can be very interesting.
It's interesting because we humans are a lot like horses. I've been in the horse business all of my life, and a horse is only as good as its hooves. And a human is really only as good as his feet if they have to depend on them for their job.
Sure. That's right. That's right. That's one of the most gratifying things that comes with being a podiatrist is someone who comes in limping and leaves walking normal. It's funny as it sounds. We do procedures from broken ankles and broken bones and fusing bones together to just clipping toenails and taking ingrown toenails out. And taking ingrown toenails out is one of my favorite things to do. Just because you see somebody walk in that's in such pain, can't move, and when they walk out, they're so happy that it's pretty gratifying. So you're right. If you can't walk, it's pretty hard to do much of anything.
Dr. Riding, let me ask you this question, and I would imagine that you've probably got a really good answer on this, but today's footwear, does it really fit and do the job and keep our feet halfway healthy?
You know what? I get questions about, what brand is the best and what type of shoe, and is this okay and is that okay? And there's so many things out there I can't even keep up with it. And what I always tell people is support is the number one thing that will keep you happy on your feet. So, for example, my foot seems to like the brand Nike for whatever reason. I know a lot of people will hear that and say, I've tried Nike brand shoes and I can't stand them for more than a minute. But there's a lot of good brands out there, and there's a lot of not good shoe wear and boots and sandals and everything. But what I always do is I take a shoe and I'll take it and I'll try and bend it 90 degrees and then I'll try and twist it. And the more stiff it is, the more support it has, the better your feet will be in it for the long term. So it's kind of a difficult question just to ask. Everybody has a different foot type. Everybody responds. Shoe companies tend to make shoes narrow, or wide, or whatever, and depending on your foot type, you'll respond better to that, to one brand or the other. So I say, you're going to have to try a few different things, but there's something out there for you. And if there's not, we sure have modifications, orthotics, whatever that we can help, manage your foot style and everything with.
Let me ask you this question in regards to various foot problems. What's the biggest problem with people's feet today? Is it bunions? Is it poor arch support? What is it?
That's a good question. Where I trained in Philadelphia, I would say that if you're saying the biggest problem, biggest problem, most severe, however we want to say this, I would say it's diabetes.
Really?
Diabetes which causes peripheral neuropathy, which causes endless problems for extremities, starting with the feet. End-stage diabetes, it's just a horrible disease, systemically all the way around, but specifically for the feet. We all know that it can lead to amputations, that it leads to these wounds. So in my opinion, the biggest, the most pressing, the most important problem that we need to address as a podiatrist, as a community, regarding feet, is diabetes and the effect that it has on our feet.
Wow. And when people come to see you for a diagnosis of saying, gee, doc, I can't walk across the kitchen floor, it hurts too bad, or I can't go up to the mailbox to get my mail, there is hope out there, right?
That's right. That's right. Usually we have a solution to whatever problem somebody has that comes in. A lot of times, it's as simple as having some inflammation in your foot, whether it be what we call plantar fasciitis, a tight heel cord. Sometimes the remedy is as simple as doing some stretching and some icing, but just doing it in the right way and in a regimented way. Or sometimes we need to step it up and do some injections, and sometimes we need to move it all the way up to a surgical procedure. But usually there is an answer and a solution to anybody's problem.
I really recommend everybody that has a little sore foot or foot problems, they get a hold of this man, Dr. Paxton Riding. How can they reach you? How can they find out how to come see you at Cassia Regional?
And I am not sure because I've only been there for 3 days.
Well, I tell you what we can do is we can have them call the main number at Cassia Regional, and they will direct the call to your office.
That's correct. We also have a number for the clinic, but the main number would be just fine as well. Embarrassed to say that I don't have that with me right now, but...
No, not at all. A brand new doctor in town, a podiatrist that can help everybody's foot problems, Dr. Paxton Riding at Cassia Regional. Doctor, thank you so much for being on the program.
Hey, you're sure welcome. Thanks for having me.
Tune in every Thursday at 9:18 right here on Zeb at the Ranch for more about the people and the healthcare services at your Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home. They are such nice people. I've really enjoyed putting together all those interviews. Thank you very much, Cassia Regional Hospital. I want to remind you about Let's Ride. Oh, my goodness sakes, where the fun is sold. And that's, of course, at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. All the snowmobiles are on display over there. Well, take one of them off the showroom floor at least and put it on your trailer and head for the hills. By golly, they got all the snow machines. Oh, and by the way, too, they've got the snow plows to hook onto your ATVs. I've got one, bought it from Nick a couple of years ago. Great investment. I really like that. Hey, go over there today. Stop in. Great accessory department, and they've got a service department second to none. They can keep you running at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the World. Yes, sirree, Bob. This is where the fun is sold. Really good people. I want to also remind you about some other good folks over in that neck of the woods, and that's, of course, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Hello, Todd and the crew. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more offered to you by very dedicated and responsive people serving your needs. Call them today for an appointment at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Yes, sir. Cameron Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. I've mentioned this a couple of times already this morning. I'm going to do it again because I'm not on the air on Fridays. This Saturday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, this Saturday, December 8th at 5 o'clock, don't miss the second episode of the Lavoie Finicum documentary, and this one is going to be discussing the Oregon standoff. That's at 5 p.m. this Saturday at the King Fine Arts Center in Burley. No admission charge. Please put that on your calendar of must-do. This Saturday, December 8th, the second episode of the Lavoie Finicum documentary at the King Fine Arts Center at 5 p.m. Do not miss that. Thank you. Well, we have a quick second before we get Rita on the phone. I want to remind you, too, about more of our Merry Christmas wishes and Magic Valley Carpet. Hello, folks, good folks over at Magic Valley Carpet, 613 D Street in Rupert. They've got all your carpeting needs. I know company's coming for the Christmas holidays. You better call them right now at 436-1722. Magic Valley Carpet. and Vicky's Country Garden. And, of course, Vicky's located at 185 South, 600 West of Paul. And she thanks everybody for the business this past year. And don't forget to call her on the cell phone and arrange to get a gift certificate. Great stocking stuffers for Christmas. 431-5667. Vicky's Country Garden. And last but not least, Magic Valley Irrigation at 44 East, 500 South of Burley. And they've got all your irrigation needs. And they thank all the farmers for the production of all the food that we eat. Jeff and the crew wishing you a very Merry Christmas at Magic Valley Irrigation. Right now, let's go to the phone line and a wonderful lady that's waiting in the wings. And here she is, Rita Ramsey. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. Thank you.
Wow. Rita, every week for at least the last 2 months, we have never had a program where there hasn't been a lot to cover. But I think in respect and reverence of a past president, I'd like you to comment on the funeral that's taking place today, the final resting of George Herbert Walker Bush.
Well, first of all, I want to say a couple of things about this. You know, when George W. Bush was in office and after he left office, there weren't very many people that had very nice things to say. It was just kind of like, oh, you know, he's irrelevant, and you just leave it alone, and you don't say very much. And, of course, a lot of the news media wouldn't give him, you know, basically time of day, and so it was kind of like, okay, so what do we know about this president? Now all of a sudden, and it kind of makes you just a little bit wondering where they're going with this, and I think it's so that they can slam Trump. But, you know, George W. Bush, or George H.W. Bush was just the most wonderful. He did this and that and the other, and he did everything, and they have nothing but accolades, of which I think are quite deserving, but, you know, nobody would say anything before.
Yeah.
I've listened to a number of different radio programs late night and early morning where they had people who worked for George H.W. Bush kind of give a little bit of, you know, some of their thoughts and different things, and I've learned a lot of stuff about him. One of the things that I didn't really think a lot about was that, you know, he basically had to usher in the closing of the Cold War and make sure that it didn't go really south after Reagan, you know, called him out. And there was numbers of different things. I was listening to Oliver North talking to one of the guys on early morning radio, and he said, of course, I think he was one of his security advisors. He said that they went down to Argentina and they met with the people down there, and then he said on the way back, we took a detour, which was unannounced. Nobody knew anything about it. And they went to, it wasn't Colombia, and it wasn't, anyway, it was one of the Central American countries.
Wasn't it Guatemala, or am I wrong?
It might have been Guatemala.
Okay.
But basically what he did is he went in there and he said, hey, you guys got to clean up your act. If you think we're going to come in and do this, that, and the other, and, you know, it wasn't the Noriega thing, and it wasn't, you know, any, some of those others, but they were having a lot of issues, and it was like, hey, you know, we need to have you come and do this. And he went in there and he basically said, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the way that it's going to be, and this is what's going to have to happen. And so he was the person who really stood up for, you know, the things that need to be done, and you never heard any of that reported. I don't remember any of it, and maybe it really was. I don't think it was. And then there was a CIA guy who worked under him. He was kind of like one of the next in line when President George H.W. Bush was the CIA director, and he told us some things that had happened without giving any, you know, secrets away, and saying, you know what, there never has been a CIA director that was more interested in protecting this country and doing what needed to be done to keep Americans safe than George Herbert Walker Bush was.
You know, Rita, I have a very small, minuscule relation to the stories of George Herbert Walker Bush by my knowing of a police officer in Long Island, New York. I met this man years ago. He was one of the police officers that was on a security detail of an event that I was a part of. And we had a chance to visit with him and everything, and he talked about President Bush. And the one story, and I'll make it very short and sweet, he said that he had done something for the president. They opened a door for him or something, and the president turned around and said, "No. Thank you for all you do in service to all of us." And that was the kind of person that President Bush was.
Well, yeah, and that just proves another thing that I wanted to mention in being that, you know, the Bushes kind of got a bad rap because there were a number of them in politics. And of course, we had, you know, W as the president, so they had two presidents in their family, a couple of governors, and George H.W. Bush was in a number of different public servant offices, but it was mentioned by his son, W, that, you know, he said 10 years in one place is enough, and then get out. And go someplace where you're needed, instead of just sitting in the same place and being the same thing. They got a lot of crap, I think, dealt to them because they were public servants. But the one thing that I have found out is that they were so good and so kind to everybody, and just a class act that probably is going to be hard for anybody to ever follow.
I agree with that, and I thought you did very, very well in that last little dissertation about the Bush family, etc. I don't think that there's anybody in the world, unless they're very hardened and very calloused, and they can look at things like what I'm about to say and not have it affect them. But when I watched and listened carefully and closely to the eulogy being given by the 43rd president, the son, George W. Bush, yesterday, and it was a gut-wrenching experience, especially at one part of the eulogy where he basically, you could see the love written all over his face for his father when he said goodbye to his dad.
I didn't actually see that, but I did hear part of his eulogy, and I sat there and teared up while he was talking, because you could tell that they just had such respect and love for that man, and over his years of service and everything that he did, and many of the things we had absolutely no idea of until different people have come forward and said, well, when I was working underneath him, this happened, and when I was in his cabinet, this happened. And Sununu was one of the guys that I listened to. He had kind of a long thing a couple of days ago that he was talking about, because he was president's, what is it called, the guy who's in the, you know, the Karl Rove type guy. Anyway, for George H.W. Bush, and he told of a number of different things, and I thought, you know, it's really sad that there couldn't have been some kind of a thing like this all put together prior to he and his wife passing, so they could see that this is a country who really needs to be grateful for people like them.
Yes. I want to kind of end this part of our conversation by asking you this question, and I watched this tape at least a half a dozen times yesterday. It was the tape of showing 5 presidents all sitting in the same pew at the church during the eulogy. But it was the entrance of Melania and Donald Trump coming into the church and walking up to the pew. And I watched very carefully as Melania kind of bent over a little bit, and she stuck out her arm and shook hands with Mrs. Obama, and then acknowledged verbally and with a nod of the head everyone else in the pew, the Clintons and the Carters, etc. And then, of course, Donald Trump right behind her, nodding to everybody and saying hello with a closed, a kind of a silent hello, read his lips. But did you look at Hillary while this was going on?
Actually, I did not see that. The thing was going while I was at work, and I didn't actually take in any Fox News.
There was a complete chill and coldness and stone-faced attitude. She turned her head ever so slightly to acknowledge Melania Trump, and it was almost a real quick raising of the lips, kind of almost in a half-hearted smile, and then quickly looking away so that she didn't have to acknowledge Donald Trump. And a lot of people caught this. Some of the news people tried to gloss it over and say, oh, the solemnity of the occasion and everything. Don't give me that. You could really see the almost pure hatred on her face.
I'm sure that was one of those things where you didn't have to know whether she was thinking anything. You could just tell. And you can tell where there's contempt and hate, and there is, and especially with the Clintons. And I'm surprised that the Obamas could hold composure, but that's good if they did. But it is really sad because it just seems like that there are so many people that just absolutely, totally give Trump no credit. They hate him forever, and they will not give him any credit for anything. And he's doing a lot. And as far as the First Lady goes, you know, if you were to start putting down on lists things that First Ladies had that were positive traits or talents or whatever, we would probably find that Melania's list is probably 3 or 4 times longer than any of the other First Ladies in the last, well, probably ever.
I got to tell you something, and I'm so glad you brought that up. But I saw an excerpt the other day, it's been a couple of weeks ago, I guess, where the women on The View, and I got to be honest, and please, if you like these ladies, chew me out. But when you're talking about Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, I think you're talking about the bottom of the barrel as far as talk show hosts, and they are so full of liberalese. They were condemning her and mocking her because of her accent. And I thought to myself, how basically dumb can Joy Behar be? This woman, Melania Trump, speaks 5 languages fluently, and they're saying that they thought she acted uneducated because of her accent? Oh, please.
Well, that's just it. You know, they can just be friends with all the immigrants and everything's wonderful and that. And then you talk about a true immigrant who has come here and brings a lot to the table in helping America do well. And like I said, you know, with all of her talents and everything, and they want the immigrants that aren't going to be here to take advantage of making them help make America great again, but they don't want the ones who will. So there's a double standard, and it just depends on who you are. And it's just really sad because there's just not enough people saying, you can have different opinions, and that's okay. I still think you're a worthwhile person.
Absolutely. Did you happen to catch, and I mentioned this the first hour, I hope you were listening first hour, but did you happen to catch the Martha McCallum show last night on Fox?
I didn't.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I'm sure you were aware. Are you aware of who the young man is? His name is John, and he started with his father a sock company, johnscrazysocks.com. Have you seen, he's a Down syndrome young man. Have you seen him on TV?
Oh, I haven't, actually. That's a really feel-good story.
Oh, it just, honestly, last night, and I'm 71 years old, and I'm supposed to be calloused and have been everywhere, seen everything. I broke down last night. I couldn't help it. He was on Martha McCallum with his father last night, and they were talking about the funeral for George Herbert Walker Bush. And this young man had got to know George Bush, because George Bush, if you'll recall, always wore the kind of a crazy, wild, outlandishly colored socks. Remember that? You've seen him on television. They've had many stories about it.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
This young man, through his sock company with his father, they provided George Bush, before his passing, with a lot of socks, and he was wearing them in various photographs. And one pair of the socks that they designed, thanks to this Down syndrome young man, will be worn in eternity because that's what they put on George Bush for the funeral.
Oh, that is amazing.
But what really got me is you've heard stories over the last couple of months about there are insidious, stupid people in our midst that said that they're advocating abortion of Down syndrome children and that they want to see progress in science so that if there's any inkling that you might have a Down's child, to get rid of it, abort it. And then I saw the love last night on television between the father and the son, and at the end of the segment, when they were done talking to Martha McCallum, the Down syndrome young man, he's probably about 20, 21 years old, reached over with his left hand and put his hand on his dad's shoulder and said, "I love you, Dad. You're the best dad in the world."
This is what happens when you have people with special needs, and I haven't been around a lot of them, but I do know with Down syndromes and some of those who are just mentally retarded, those people have the biggest hearts and the most love, and they are such good examples to remind us of unconditional love that they render to anyone usually, and it is an example that we need to look at and say, you know, maybe I ought to be just a little bit more like them. Maybe they don't have some of the capacities that I have, but there is nobody on earth that has bigger hearts and more love than they do.
Rita, I've got to take a break here real quick for a weather forecast, and I'll be back. I want to remind everybody that the weather brought to you this hour by Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Caller will be with you in a moment. And, of course, Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. Don't forget, offices in Burley and Rupert serving you, Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Caller, stand by. We're going to have the weather. Here's Scotty.
Well, it seems though we've hit a cold snap. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron setting in for Gina Jameson. For today, we're expecting mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to be around 25. Then for tonight, going to have some fog rolling in with a low around 11. Then for tomorrow morning, patchy fog, then clearing off a bit, going to be mostly sunny. Highs only going to reach around 29. Then for Friday night, partly cloudy, lows of 14. Mostly sunny on Saturday, a high of 32. Saturday night, lows of 13, mostly sunny for Sunday, and a high of 31. As we head back to work on Monday, looking for partly sunny and a high of 33. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron.
Thank you very much, Scotty. And the weather brought to you by some folks that really want to remind you it's getting close to the end of the year. You better make sure all your tax records are ready for your business. Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with locations in Burley and Rupert, bringing you the weather. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please, quickly.
Hello, Zeb. Hey, I just wanted to clarify what I said earlier about the Down syndrome guy that I knew. You see, I wanted to say he's proof that these guys, even with that problem they have, they're not really disabled. They're just different, and they're special. And I knew one guy at the club who had that. When I fell on the floor, I had never seen him before until then, but he stopped what he was doing, run over, helped me up, made sure I was all right. And let me tell you, these guys are, sometimes they can be pretty awesome.
I thank you for your call back. Thank you very much. Rita, any other thoughts regarding the first couple of stories that we've had this morning?
Covered them pretty good.
I want to end the segment this morning, and it's just amazing to me that the left can destroy and dispute and disrupt with their interviews on television and everything, all the good that's being done on the border with our Border Patrol, all the good that's being done with our military. And what's happening right now, it's almost like the Democrats and the left, are welcoming more insurgents to come across our border all the way from Texas to California. And the poor Border Patrol agents are literally outmanned, and this is a shameful thing that's going on, and it seems to be backed by a lot of the Democratic verbiage.
Well, it is, and that's the part that's really sad, is that you would think that they would say, you know, maybe I ought to just tone down my rhetoric and not say too much, because this can't really be good, and even though I don't want it to be something that's reflective that might make Trump look like he's trying to do good, but what if one of them comes after me or my family or is close to us in some shape or form? I mean, they are just out promoting them like they're the gift of the world, and we need to acknowledge that and welcome them in, and give them all the free stuff and everything. If these people really wanted to help make America great, they would get in line and they would ask to come into our country instead of just sneaking across or doing anything they could, trying to harm our border agents and doing whatever they can to just get across so they can do what they want. They're lawless. They don't care.
And there's another issue that is becoming very prominent in the news every day, and it's not the issue of them causing problems. It's not the issue of them demanding to come in. It's not the issue of them throwing rocks at Border Patrol agents and others. It's the issue of the sickness and the diseases that they're bringing, and I am cringing. I've talked to people in the medical profession that are I underline the word very concerned about what's happening.
Well, and rightfully so. And you've had an experience with polio, and there's lots of people probably in listening to our audience that have had issues with some of the other diseases that they're bringing in. They start bringing in tuberculosis and polio and measles and some of those kinds of things that we basically were able to almost eradicate 50 years ago or whenever it was. I mean, I remember going over to the high school and having the little sugar cubes with the polio vaccinations in them when I was just a little tiny kid and those kinds of things. And then, you have your booster shots and all of that so that you don't have them. Well, they don't have any kind of way of treating these or wanting to. And these people are sick, and they are going to bring that sickness to anyone they're in contact with. And it's going to get out of control.
It is, and I'm going to say this, and if somebody's offended, that's their problem, not mine. It's the naivete, the naive attitude by the American public today because of medical science eradicating a lot of these things that we thought would never rear their ugly head again, and they are, and then parents sitting there with a kind of a naive and distantly vacant look in their eye. Well, I don't want to vaccinate my child because it's not worthwhile. All those diseases are gone. No, they're coming back.
Well, and yeah, that's just it. It really, and you could get me on a deal with vaccinations because I've done a little checking into it, but we can't not do that. And if people don't want to have their kids vaccinated, that's totally up to them. But they can't be in public schools where they stand the chance of spreading something to others. The big problem is that we need to make sure that we do things in moderation and we keep an eye out. I still think we need to open up Ellis Island and ship everybody over there and let them come through the ranks just like they did in the 1800s. Make sure that they're there for several weeks, that they haven't caught anything that is going to be contagious or damaging, and by then they will have proved that they have sponsors, so they don't need any kind of free stuff.
I would support what you just said. We have a quick call, and I mean caller, this is quick. I'm only going to allow you 30 seconds, and then I'm going to have to cut you off. Go ahead quickly.
2 seconds. She took the words out of my mouth. Ellis Island.
Well, I'm glad you're in agreement. That was short and sweet. You ought to come over and work for me. You're good. Thank you very much. Ellis Island, I agree with you. It's absolutely a necessity today. Rita, final thoughts.
Well, it really is, and when we just have open borders and let anybody come in, there's no scrutinizing, and that's when we have danger. We also end up with multiculturalism, and all that does is destroy the countries. You can see how Europe's falling apart, and that's what we will have here before.
Yeah, real quick, give me a short answer on this. And yet you see civic leaders, community leaders, i.e. Twin Falls and their city council, oh, we've got to diversify. Oh, we've got to have multiculturalism. I want to preserve the culture of the American West and American Western towns and cities.
I do as well, and I think we need to let those migrants just put up camp in their backyards and let them take care of them for a while.
Thank you. Rita, I always depend on you to be straightforward and honest and very short. You are excellent. We're drawing closer to Christmas, and I want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You as well. Bye.
God bless. Thank you. I love that lady. Thank you very much. Well, let's see what we got here. Oh, if you're hungry, and man, am I hungry this morning, and starving to death, I know some great places to go, especially if you're Christmas shopping. Listen to this. How about stopping over to the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley? They've got the eggnog shakes and the pumpkin shakes, and they've got the shrimp baskets, not buckets, famous Farmer Brown burgers. They've got it all right there, along with fries, special sauce, everything delicious at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Don't forget, too, Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley. One of the great places to get together with your friends and visit. Oh, my goodness, they got those delicious pumpkin empanadas. Have you had one of those? Knock your boots off delicious. And along with the breakfast burritos and the pork burritos, oh, my goodness, everything on the menu, absolutely great. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, how about two locations of Burgers Etc.? 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. A different hot soup, delicious soup every day, Monday through Friday. Bread bowls, pumpkin shakes, and they've got shrimp dinners on Sunday at the Burley location, only $5.99. You're going to love the people and love the food at Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, how about Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn? Food made the way you love it. Oh, my. Why not get a gift certificate for your friends, neighbors, relatives to go eat at Steve-O's? My goodness, they've got them over there, and they will help you with your Christmas gift giving, along with delicious buffalo burgers and all the cheesy broccoli spuds. Everything delicious always is at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west in Hayburn. And as I'm drooling, those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Right now, we're going to get ready to send it back over to old Sean over at the main studios, but I want to remind you again that we're going to have the old-fashioned Denny's Christmas next Thursday, December 13th, at Denny's Restaurant America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley. That's going to be the whole broadcast. We're going to be on the air live from 8 to 11 next Thursday. Santa Claus is going to be there. Yep. Ashley Ludlow's going to be there providing the music, prizes, everything. Denny's Old-Fashioned Christmas at America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley next Thursday. Right now, we're going to kick the ball over into Sean's parking lot. He's going to take us up to CBS News. We'll be back in 7. Oh, welcome back. Hour number 3 on a Thursday, December 6th already. My goodness sakes. And I got to do it right. Hold on just a second. Merry Christmas. I got to get my bells over here. Want to remind you, too, that we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, don't forget some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Want to remind you that Great Big Cow Sale is next Monday. This will be my last reminder until Monday, and you need to be aware of it. The Great Big Burley Livestock Sale Yard presenting the 3rd annual Bred Cow Sale. Special sale next Monday at 11 o'clock. Monday, December 10th at 11 o'clock. Over 1,200 really good quality cows and heifers, top genetics, one iron cattle mostly, and just top heifers and good solid cows going through this ring at this special sale next Monday, December 10th at 11 o'clock at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Don't you miss it. And while we have just a minute, I got to back up here a little bit and tell everybody Merry Christmas wishes from the doctors and staff, great people at Burley Veterinary Hospital, and they wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You know, the vets and all the staff over there, very, very nice people, very knowledgeable people at 2869 Overland and Burley, wishing you, whether you got one dog or you got a whole herd of horses and dairy cattle, they wish you the best of health for your animals and pets, and they'll try to keep them that way. Burley Veterinary Hospital, 2869 Overland in Burley. Nice people. Well, we are blessed on this program to have a lot of interesting segments, and this is no exception to the rule. We have Cassia County School Days. It's been going on this program for I don't know how many years, and the sponsor, of course, right in there with us all the time, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and they've got all the clothing, they've got all the toys and equipment, the furniture, they've got the books, the puzzles, the Cherokee scrubs. I mean, really, for your Christmas shopping, I urge you to stop in, shop local, and really see some nice people at A Child's World. 1308 Overland in Burley as they bring you Cassia County School Days. I believe with us on the phone right now is the superintendent of schools for Cassia County, and he's here with us at least once a month, and that's Dr. Shank. He hasn't called in yet. Okay, well, we'll wait just a minute, and that'll give us an opportunity to where we can also tell you this Saturday, December 8th, don't miss the second episode of the Lavoy Finicum documentary discussing the Oregon standoff. That's going to be at 5 p.m. this coming Saturday, at the King Fine Arts Center in Burley. There is no admission charge, and I urge you to be there for this event. Saturday, December 8th, this coming Saturday at 5 p.m. at the King Fine Arts Center. And please, I urge you to go and find out more of the truth. Let's see if the doctor's called in. Sean, is he on the phone?
No, he hasn't called in yet.
Well, we'll just hang fire until he does, and hopefully he won't forget, as we're in the process of opening up the door for Cassia County School Days, and hopefully he'll give us a jingle on the landline in just a very few minutes. In the meantime, you're welcome to call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give us a call if you would, please. I don't like waiting for this to happen. We'll see if he's going to make the call momentarily. Let's see what else have we got in the news here this morning. Oh, by the way, do not fall into the trap, and it is a trap, of believing in climate change and global warming. And there is no such thing. It's a hoax, and I'm going to stand behind that. I think I will be proven 100% correct that global warming and climate change and all of this is just nothing more than a way, and it's working in certain parts of the world, for the governments to get complete, underline the word complete, control of their citizens. I believe we have a call coming in. Let's see who it is. Is this Dr. Shank?
No.
Oh, okay. Caller, go ahead.
I was watching that funeral yesterday and saw that lineup of ex-presidents, Obama and Clinton and Carter and a few other names just happened to come to my mind looking at that. Names like Hitler and Hussein and Mussolini and Stalin.
You thought of that when you looked at our nation's presidents?
Yes.
Why?
The ex-presidents.
Why would you say that, though? Because never in our history as presidents have we had anyone as vile and evil as the people that you mentioned. Why would you say that?
Well, they wanted to be, especially Obama.
No, I'm not going to even go there. They all had their pitfalls, they all had their problems, and they all had their shortcomings. But I would never compare them to those people at all. Never to a Hitler or a Mussolini. I find that totally disrespectful, sir, and I won't stand for it on my program. Thank you for your call. I believe we have another caller calling in. Caller, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I've got a real important question. What happened to Wills?
Well, I said yesterday on the air he's had some health problems creep up on him, and they're being addressed, and I talked to his mother last evening, I think it was. Everything looks good, he's recovering well, and should be back in the saddle next Monday, Jerry.
Okay, well, I just wondering, that's another guy there, and I don't think it's doing quite as good.
Well, no, don't say that. Don't say that. Sean's doing a great job filling in, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for your call, Jerry. I appreciate that. Right. Thank you. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please. And evidently they're not. We are waiting, hopefully, for Dr. Shank to call in on behalf of our segment, Cassia County School Days. And Deanne, if you could come here, please, and take the number and have Debbie call in, or maybe she could check and find out where the doctor is. We'll get him on the air. Do we have another call here? Take this, and please see if you can find out where he is. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, Deb. It's Debbie Critchfield.
Yes, Debbie. Where is our Dr. Shank?
That is an excellent question. I've been trying to track him down myself. I apologize.
Well, if you get him, tell him to call immediately, if you would. I'd very much appreciate it.
And that has been the message that I have left. In the meantime, I'm happy to address any educational topics you may have.
Well, I appreciate that, Debbie. One of the things I wanted to talk to him about this morning that I think a lot of parents, grandparents, anybody and everybody is concerned about, and that's security at schools. And I know that there have been lengthy conversations, discussions, meetings, etc., about security for the Cassia County schools, and you, above anybody else, are far, far qualified to give us an update on that.
One of the priorities for our school board over the last specifically 3 years has been addressing that very thing. And they have looked at a variety of ways to do that. And it's not just about facility needs in the sense of security cameras, door access controls, although those are important things. But they've also looked at ways to reduce actions or behaviors by students in school that might lead to some of these crazy things that we hear about nationwide.
Mm-hmm. Do you, as a school district, do you sit down like at a school board meeting or meetings of the hierarchy, if you will, and kind of look at other school areas, look at other security systems and ideas from other parts of the country? How do you come up with the final net result for our schools? Exactly
what you described. We also have a safety and security team that is comprised of teachers, administrators, our school SRO, and we also have a threat assessment team. And they go out regionally and to other parts of the state and even attend national conferences where best practices and strategies are explained and described on how to address potential threats that may arise in schools.
What is the procedure? I mean, today we have to not trust. I guess that's kind of a good way to say it. We can't trust almost anybody because of what happens at various schools around the United States. How do you discern who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, and maybe stepping on some toes? I mean, it's got to be a little tough, doesn't it?
It is, and it's really a sad commentary, I think, on our society that we're looking at. No one wants to turn our schools into prisons. They are community centers where we want involvement from community members and parents, and yet, as you've explained, there are times where we need to make sure we know who's in our buildings. And so over the years, we've locked outside exterior doors, directing people through the main doors. Cassia Alternative School has a system, it's called a Raptor system, where visitors that come in actually give them their driver's license, and it's run through a state system to make sure that anyone coming in the building is someone that doesn't have any type of law enforcement, pending law enforcement action, and is safe to be around students. We always ask visitors to check in some of our smaller areas. This is annoying to parents because they live in a small community, and hey, I know you. Why do I need to stop at the office and get a badge? But we've trained our children that if you see something, say something. If someone is a stranger to you and you're not sure who that person is, you need to speak up to an adult. And again, it's too bad that we have to go this direction. But at the same time, we want to say that we did everything that we could to ensure safety of kids while they're under our care.
Absolutely. And Debbie, I know that the Cassia County Schools superintendent and everyone is very concerned about the safety of every single child. I am too. That's why I'm going to ask you this next question about vaccinations. I'm not going to weaken on this, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm going to be adamant adamant that people and parents need to make sure their child or their children are vaccinated for the diseases that are creeping up again and rearing their ugly head. I don't want to see anything like polio, whooping cough, measles, etc. take over once it's been put asunder, and I'm afraid that it might.
We appreciate that you are an advocate for this important choice, and it is increasingly we find more parents that want to opt out of it for a variety of reasons. And as you pointed out, we're seeing whooping cough and some of these other diseases that people fought for years, and scientists worked very hard to be able to eradicate these things that were killing people off, and now they're popping up again regionally. So the state of Idaho mandates that no seventh grader can enroll in seventh grade unless their immunization chart is up to date. Now, there's some loopholes in that, in the sense of, for religious reasons and other reasons, you can present documentation as to why your child isn't current in those things. And I'm sure that there are, in some cases, very valid reasons why people can or can't do that. But for the most part, we do, along with you, advocate that parents keep up on those vaccinations. And it's about the public health of all of our students.
Let me ask you a question, which I think is obvious as you were explaining that. Why is seventh grade the cutoff? Why isn't it kindergarten? Why isn't it first grade, second grade, etc.? I would think that the communicable diseases are mostly spread by the younger elementary ages. Why not start it right at kindergarten and make it mandatory?
That's a fantastic question that I cannot answer. I know that this was a legislative action, and I'm not aware of the discussion that led up to seventh grade being that line in the sand. And as you pointed out, we ask students when they enroll in elementary school that when you come, whether it's you're re-enrolling to the same school or new to the district, that you bring your immunization card with you or have it, accessible. And so those are things that we're constantly promoting and constantly reminding parents that we need to do this. And as to the seventh grade cutoff, I honestly don't know what the reasoning was for that.
Are other states as tough and firm, or are they lax? I mean, give us a kind of a general feeling as to other states saying, no, you can't come into school unless you have the vaccinations. Are we tougher than some, weaker than others? What's the situation there?
I think we're probably in the middle. We're definitely tougher. I would say we're tougher than most as far as having some type of statute that requires these things. Some states have chosen to make more of a messaging or a marketing promotion to remind parents. I know recently I saw some great videos of things that they've done in California. Some of these the diseases, these childhood diseases, frankly, that we can't believe we're still talking about, they're a real problem. And so they've put out a whole public health marketing campaign to remind parents and encourage parents to get these things done. And perhaps that's the next step for Idaho. We've got some of these laws and other procedures in place. Now we need to go one more step and really advocate for it in a more public way.
Let me ask you this. If I, as a private citizen, said something to our legislators, be it Scott Bedke, Fred, or Kelly, whomever it might be, and make a demand that this issue is addressed in the legislature, what takes place after that? Will it be done or what? What's going on here?
Well, we're very fortunate, as you know, with our legislative district to have folks that have leadership positions, particularly with Representative Wood. He's the chair of the Health and Welfare Committee on the House side. And I think that this would be something, if he hasn't already been talking about it, would most certainly be interested in seeing what could be done to help schools, help parents.
Very well said. Debbie, quickly, Christmas break, Christmas vacations are looming on the horizon. Would you mind telling me, other parents, grandparents, and everybody, are all schools going to be out at the same time? I mean, what happens here?
Yeah, so Kaja School's last day of school is December 21st, and I'm sure that morning will be crazy for students. I talked with an elementary teacher yesterday who said she's having a hard time getting students to focus, especially with a little bit of snow that we've had minds are going to Christmas break. So last day of school is December 21st, and then we will welcome students back for second semester January 7th.
Okay.
And so we're hoping that people enjoy the break, whatever it is that they're doing. But for casual schools, kindergarten to 12th grade, we lock everything up and turn the lights off, keep the heater on so our pipes don't freeze, of course, but send everybody to enjoy some family time.
All right, I'm gonna have you on a scavenger hunt right now, a treasure hunt, and you will win a special dinner. I will get you a coupon at the place of your choice if on your scavenger hunt you can find Dr. Shank.
Okay. Done.
Okay, Debbie.
Will go a long way for me.
Debbie Critchfield, I love you. Thank you for filling in. Cassia County Schools Communications Officer. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. Don't forget, Cassia County School Days brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley every Thursday at 10:10. We are going to jump right to the telephone right now. Sean over at our station, I believe he's got him ready to go. I'll check with him. Sean, do we have Joe from Western Waste ready to go on the phone line?
Yeah.
Good man. Thank you. Here's Joe over at Western Waste, and he doubles as Santa Claus, sitting there at his desk with a great big red and white outfit on and a great big bushy white beard. Good morning, Santa Claus at Western Waste. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
You know, I would imagine, Joe, that at Western Waste this time of the year, I'm just going to take a wild stab in the dark, but I'll bet you that a lot of people are planning for all the gatherings of the family and everything else and probably saying, hey, we're going to need a dumpster to hold all the garbage and all the Christmas wrappers and everything else. Tell us about what's really going on at Western Waste Services.
Yeah, you're correct, Zeb. It's definitely a busy time of year with the holidays. We got a lot of, events going on and toilets for tree festivals and lightings and all that kind of stuff. So we are definitely busy at the moment. So
if somebody needs to get a dumpster, and they come in various sizes, I'm not really aware of the different sizes. I'm going to say small, medium, and large. Really, how do they know what kind of a dumpster to order?
So basically, the easiest thing to do is just give us a call, 208-734-6969. You can talk to me or any of our gals in the office. We're pretty knowledgeable on it. Basically, we'll just ask the customer, what are you trying to do? We offer the small containers, the plastic containers you see at a lot of people's houses. We have 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 6 yard, 8 yards. So it just depends on what you're wanting to do. We'll try to get you the best dumpster that fits your needs or fits your budget. We're willing to work with anybody, and we can do whatever we need. You know,
I've been saying on the radio ad quite a bit lately that you also got the Go Mini storage units, and I can just imagine that if Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred are going to have all the kids and everybody over to their house for Christmas, they're going to maybe have to move something out of the house to make room for everybody. Tell us about these Go Minis, various sizes. Give us kind of a rough draft as to what they are and how they can get one.
Yeah. Well, the same thing. Just give us a call on that. We'll talk to you about what your needs are. We have 3 different sizes. We have a 12-foot mini, we have a 16-foot mini, and we have a 20-foot mini. All the Go Minis are the same height. They're 8 foot tall and 8 foot wide. They just vary in lengths. So that's the different sizes. And once again, we can work with your budget or whatever your plans are to fit your needs. We also move a lot of people, so if you have somebody that's, wanting to build a new house and they're wanting to move from one end of the Magic Valley to the other, you just give us a quick call. We can get you set up in the computer. Our guys will drop it off in your driveway. You fill it up. We haul it over to your new place, and we'll put it right in front of your garage so you can unload your stuff and make it as simple and easy as possible.
Wow, it is easy. The main thing is the number 734-6969, and folks that might be just new to the area, they are not sure if they're on a route service for having their garbage picked up. What's the easiest way to find out about having you, Western Waste, get their garbage and get it out of there?
Give us a call, the 734-6969. You can find out what route you're on. I can come out to your place, take a look, see if you have a driveway you want us to come down, or you got a special needs we can take care of. A lot of people lately have been going to our website at www.gowesternwaste.com. All the information's on there. You can click on container sizes. It'll show you pictures of all the different size containers we have and all the holidays that we observe and scheduling like that.
Well, I tell you what, that's the number, 734-6969. Joe, is there anything else you want to add to it today? I'm going to give you the last 30 seconds of the interview. Go ahead.
No problem, Deb. Yeah, I'd just like to thank all of our customers in the Magic Valley for all your support we've had over the year, and anybody that's looking for support to a local company. We do a great job. Give us a call, 734-6969. We can handle your storage needs, your garbage needs, recycling, cleanup, anything. We'll take care of you. You need a porta potty for a party, give us a call. We'll get you taken care of.
I'll tell you what, they are super good people that have been on our program for a long time. Joe, I want to wish you and everybody at Western Waste a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and thank you for all you do.
No problem. Thank you, Zeb, and Merry Christmas to you and your family.
I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. They really are always at your disposal. Great people over at Western Waste Services. We do appreciate them. Want to also give Christmas messages out from Speaker of the House and Representative Scott Bedke from District 27, a rancher up in the Oakley area. Good guy. I call him the John Wayne of politics. I'll tell you what, he and his family and everybody wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Speaker of the House, Scott Bedke. Thank you very much. Mountain Transmissions at 1146 East Main in Burley with Rick and all the folks. They are your one-stop transmission repair facility with more than 30 years in the industry. They know and can help you. Mountain Transmissions in Burley. And Pump Service with 103 West, 500 South in Burley with the Baker Boys, the Baker Brothers. I'm going to tell you, I've had them on numerous occasions help me, and it's same-day service, same-day great service. From Pump Service in Burley, 678-9042. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. And last but not least, Minnecasia Sales at 1321 East Main in Burley. Zach and the crew, these are nice people, and they've got a lot of items over there for you. New flooring, doors, or more. Check out the low overhead means lower prices for you at Minnecasia Sales at 1321 East Main in Burley. Wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Right now, let's send it back over to Sean at our main studio. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you very much. I want to jump in here real quick for a minute, and I have a very short German temper. I don't apologize for that. Wheels, the board operator that runs my program every day, has had some health issues, and I said this yesterday, and we're praying for him. It looks like everything's going to be going okay, and he possibly will be back with us next week. But the young man that's on the air running the board right now, Sean, has done an exemplary job, and jumping in to fill in at a late notice, less than a couple of hours notice, has done an outstanding job. It's not an easy program to run with all the different segments, all the different calls, everything. And Sean, turn your mic on, because I want to give you a great big thank you for the last 2 days. You jumped into a big puddle of water, and you did a great job. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Well, right now, let's go to the phone line, and we have our guest ready and waiting to go, and he's an author, and we've had him on the program in the past. I want to give a great big shout-out. Good morning to John Horvat. How are you, sir?
Great to be on the show.
You know, John, I'm going to let you toot your own horn. You're a one-man band right now. Tell us about some of the books you've written so that we get all that taken care of right up front.
Okay, the main book that I've written is Return to Order, From a Frenzied Economy to Organic Christian Society, Where We've Been, How We Got Here, Where We Need to Go. It's a book that helps people understand better where we went wrong in our culture and our economy and where we need to go.
Right there.
That's my major book.
Okay.
And now there's another book that just came out called Lighting the Way, and it's a book of stories and essays that illustrate a lot of the principles of that first book, and has helped people visualize the kind of society we need and want for our times. So those are the two books, and you can get them at www.returntoorder.org.
Very good. John, I want to start our conversation off, and I'm going to sound negative, but there's a reason for it. I honestly and firmly believe that evil Evil, that four-letter word that means so much. Evil is trying to take over so much more of our lives, our politics, everything in this country. And maybe you don't agree with me, but I think it's about high time that good people realize that evil is out there and we better stand up against it. Am I wrong, or do you think I'm right?
No, I like it. It's great because a lot of people just say, well, evil doesn't exist. It's just people who are desperate or just angry or misunderstanding. No, there are people that really don't want the right thing, and I think we need to say it like it is. You know, there are those who unfortunately do follow certain evil things.
When you say evil things and evil people, I mean, we can see it within our school and education system. We can see it in our everyday lives. We can see it with the different news stories that evil and the promotion of evil with the news media and everything is going on. I want to get back, and I don't care who's offended by this. I would love to get back in this country to the covers of the Saturday Evening Post, where mom and dad and the kids went to church on Sunday, or they sat down at a dinner table after church on Sunday noon, or they went to a park, or they went on vacation together. I don't think there's anything wrong in wishing for what used to be in this country because it's dying as far as I'm concerned.
No, definitely. I mean, you're sure. It's just a lot of people are afraid to say it now, and they shouldn't be afraid to say it. And we need to be outspoken and say, no, I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed by these things, because there are things that are good and will be good for all times, all peoples, and all places. And nothing that you can say will make it bad or the contrary.
I'm going to ask you, because this is part of the information sheets that were sent to me. It prompted me to look at this and say, is there a us versus them debate going on in America today? That's one of the questions that were on your info sheets. Well, I could say the same thing. Is there a us versus anything going on in this world today, or are we too weak and we're not going to stand up and fight it?
People like to say there is no us versus them. In fact, there's just a new book out by Senator Ben Sass that says, no, there's just a lot of people who are mixed up, and we all need to think together as Americans. But no, I think there is. If you don't see the us versus them, we need to face the facts. There is an us versus them fight out there, and we're in the middle of it.
Would you agree with me, John? And of course, I'm a little bit more of a right-winger than possibly you are, but I just think that there's time in our lifetime right now that we can stop the evil, we can stop the negativity, and we can bring things back if we'll stand up. And one of the big complaints I've got is that Christians and the ministers and pastors of various Christian churches around the United States, we're not doing enough. Would you agree with that or not?
Right, and the religious aspect is very, very important. It's the one that motivates people, and it's extremely strong influence, on people. And they are the ones that should be out there in the front line of this whole us versus them thing, saying no. The us is pretty much defined by the Ten Commandments, and them is saying, well, they're challenging that narrative.
What are some of the changes, and I want you to really elaborate on this a little bit, what are some of the changes in this country that worry you the most?
There's a lot. I'm going to say something that may sound not so sort of unexpected, but I think there's a lot of people that are trying to mainstream Satanism. You see a lot of this in just very strange things happening, where very satanic things are, what they call drag queen story hours, for example, that are happening in our public libraries, where they have people dressed up that are in very ugly and wearing horns and just really unsavory characters that are talking to our 3-year-olds. I mean, those are the kind of things I think that are just unimaginable, or would have been unimaginable years ago.
Why are we letting this happen? John, I'm not trying to point the finger at you or myself or any one or two individuals, but as a whole, why in the world is this country that was founded upon Christian principles, why are we letting this garbage, and that's what it is, take place?
Yeah, no, we shouldn't. And when people do get upset and have protested, it has had positive results. I've been personally involved in a lot of these protests, and I've seen it happen where they take a step back, and we need to think that not to think that it's going to happen. We need to get out there and in the public square and start doing these protests. And I have seen this happen with these drag queen hours, nativity sets, satanic nativity sets, where enough people got upset that the city officials did back down, and it can be done. I think we need to have that in mind. It can be done.
I don't mean to make this sound simplistic, but we've got to do something. If we're going to restore a good and a bad and a right and wrong, we've got to do something with the education system, and quite frankly, I'm very disheartened with the way it's going. What are your thoughts?
Definitely. I mean, it's out there. The education system is one of the most important parts of it because it is the young people that are involved. I'm very encouraged by homeschoolers because I see homeschoolers working, and it does. They are able to convey the idea of wrong and right and good and bad. And from what I've seen, and I have a sister who homeschools. I know a lot of people that homeschool. It's growing, and a lot of people are I think are involved, and it does. There, I see some kind of hope.
When you have your child, and I've got numerous stories that I've got in various files on my office right now, numerous stories of parents in various school systems. They were totally unaware that their children, little children, first and second grade, are being taught about homosexuality. Little children come home and say, well, they're talking about this, Dad. How come? They're talking about this, Mama. How come? And why are parents so far in the dark today, or are parents at fault for not opening the door to the school and saying, I'm coming in and you're going to tell me what's going on?
They should be, right. I think so. And I mean, it is natural for us to trust the systems that were set up and did work in the past, but we do need to be suspicious, and we do need to be very involved in our children's education. And I think that just the pace of life, sometimes people aren't, but they have to be. And there are parents associations that do get involved, and I've seen some of their work, and they have successfully protested these things. But it definitely needs to be out there, and people need to speak up.
If you were to write another book about what we need to do fundamentally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right up to 10, a 10-step, we've got to turn this bus around before it goes over to the cliff, what are some of the principles that you would tell us?
That's an interesting question. I'd really have to think about it, but I mean, I think a lot of these steps depend on what happens, and when dealing with crisis, I think that crisis usually involve either two things: a crisis or an event that happens that forces people to think and forces them to do what they have to do, or a failure of a narrative or socialism or some kind of liberal idea that fails and falls on its face, and then people are forced to come to changes. So a lot of it depends upon what happens in society for people to for a society to change as a whole. But one other step I would mention, and this would not to personalize the debates, to make the debates deal with principles, because when you turn it into just a personal brawl, it loses a lot of its force, and people think you're in it for you have an agenda. When you stick to principles and you say, no, this is right because this is the commandment. You stake out something very logical and rational. It's a very good way to deal with problems, and the left really doesn't like to deal with it in those terms. They always try to personalize it and make it a brawl that doesn't have any real consequences.
Absolutely. John, if you were to take society that we live in today on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being not too bad, 10 being, oh my goodness, we're about ready to fall into the depths of hell. Where are we on the scale according to John Horvat?
Yeah, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it would be somewhere along. It's very definitely up on the higher end of things. I would mention though one thing that I have friends that, let's say in Europe, for example, and they're probably 14 or 15. Misery loves company. I mean, we certainly we have it bad, but there are other places that are I've just been shocked by what I've seen.
Really? If that's the case, though, what we see happening in Europe, France, Germany, etc., it seems like it jumps across the pond and hits the United States. What are your biggest fears for the next couple of years as far as bringing our children up in a better culture?
I would definitely, I would say it'd have to be developed. It would have to be something about teaching our children about God and the church.
I see.
It would have to deal with that because that is our great hope. Those are the things that really buoy us and give us our strength. You take those things away, and all else just really doesn't have any meaning. So I would definitely say, the education, the religious education of our children is extremely important.
Okay, I'm going to sell some books for you. Return to Order. How can they get a copy of your book?
Go to www.returntoorder.org, and there you'll find information on how to get the book. There's actually a very soft cover edition that, it's not an expensive edition that you can get free, and a lot of other information on that website, returntoorder.org.
I'll bet you, a final thought here, John, I would imagine that if you've had any time at all to get in front of the television set and watch even a little of the proceedings of the funeral for 41st President George Herbert Walker Bush, it has a tendency to enlighten and uplift people, showing that there are still a lot of good people left in the world. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely. I mean, it was very edifying, and I think it just shows these kind of things are things that unite people. These kind of very the life, death, our final destiny. Those things are things that get above all the frenzy.
We have a caller with a quick question, and then I've got to end the segment. Caller, real fast. Go ahead. You're on the air, please.
Well, I just read an article called The Cold Civil War, where the left and the right are so separated that, what it's going to lead to is hard to say. But the left is distracting from reality, from, truth, God, the Constitution, everything that makes America great, they are distracting from and constantly tearing it away and indoctrinating our children. And, our children, so many of them don't know anything, and their parents aren't being parents. They don't care. I'll hang up. Thank you.
Respond to the caller quickly, John, if you would.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it right. We are in a very Civil War-like situation, I would agree.
John, I want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. I hope you'll come back in the future to be on my program. John Horvat, God bless you, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. Enjoyed having him on the air. A good straight shooter on the program, and his book, of course, called Return to Order. Thank you very much. And boy, we need to. I got to get a weather forecast in here. Holy smokes, I almost forgot about that. And the weather brought to you this hour by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. And Don and his crew, oh my goodness, have they got all the delicious meats for you, your family gatherings, all of this for the Christmas season. I mean, prime ribs and tri-tips and marinated pork ribs and all the bacons and the sausages and the bratwurst. I love bratwurst. And all of this and more. All you got to do is just get a hold of them. As I said, they're at 331 North Road, Jerome, and the number 324-7657 for Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's Scotty with the weather.
Well, it's seems though we've hit a cold snap. Good morning with your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron setting in for Gina Jameson. For today, we're expecting mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to be around 25. Then for tonight, going to have some fog rolling in with a low around 11. Then for tomorrow morning, patchy fog, then clearing off a bit, going to be mostly sunny. Highs only going to reach around 29. Then for Friday night, partly cloudy, lows of 14. Mostly sunny on Saturday, a high of 32. Saturday night, lows of 13. Mostly sunny for Sunday and a high of 31. As we head back to work on Monday, looking for partly sunny and a high of 33. That's your Zeb at the Ranch weather forecast. I'm Scotty Cameron.
I forgot to turn the mic on. I've only been doing this for 18 years. Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Scotty, filling in for Gina today, and we really appreciate it. I understand Gina's a little bit under the weather, and the weather by Scotty, and brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. The number to call, find out more, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Wow. It's been a fun week, a good week, and I really appreciate all your calls and everything. And again, I want to reiterate that our prayers and thoughts are with Wheels, a young man that normally runs my board, and he's been a little under the weather, but I know he's listening right now this morning, and we encourage him to hurry up and get better. And our thanks also go to Sean for coming in and literally jumping into the lion's den and doing one heck of a job running the board over there. I want to remind you again in the time remaining, I'll take a quick call. Caller, quick, real fast. You're on the air.
Well, I know you're leaving, and I just wanted to kind of finish what I was going to say, not that you had time with that guest, but, you know, the left wants anarchy. They want destruction. They want sheep. They want useful idiots. They are willing to kill, destroy, and including, including the country. They're willing to tear our morality apart, our economy apart, and then they hope that they're the ones in control so they can come in and run the show. And they couldn't care less about the fabric of America, the people of America, what makes America great. All they care about is control and power. And they're mentally ill. And when we allow them to do this, we are responsible. And that's my comment.
Well, Randy, wait a minute. Real fast, I'm just going to say back to you, that's the evil that's in our society that needs to be stopped and thrown in the garbage. That's what I'm talking about, and I'm sure you'll agree.
Oh, yeah. We can't, when we back off from the responsibilities that we have, then we get what we get. The void will always be filled by whatever you want to call it. Evil. I just say evil. Evil comes in many forms, and it can be very subtle. It can be very in your face, but it's still evil.
Amen. Randy, always appreciate your phone calls. Thank you, sir. Have a great day and a Merry Christmas.
See you, Zeb.
Thank you, buddy. I want to remind everybody about our major sponsor. Yes, I do. I'm very proud of these folks. Man, they do a great service to everybody, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations. And they say be ready for anything that the roadways and the highways and the freeways throw at you. Mud and the mush and the slick ice and the snow. They've got all the tires, all the different tread designs, everything for you, your pickup, your car, your SUV, all there at all 7 Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Check out the Wintercat SST. Woo, yeah, for your pickups and SUVs, increased stability, advanced weather traction for the winter. Whoa, you're going to love that tire. Along with all the tires, and the best in brake service, and front-end alignments, and shocks and struts, and batteries. Batteries, man, they've got great batteries over there to go out in the cold winter morning and turn over the engine on that four-wheeled wonder. You stop in and see them today. All 7, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, serving you. All right, quick reminder. Next Thursday, we're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner at 611 North Overland in Burley, the old-fashioned Denny's Christmas, and we're going to be broadcasting live and direct over there from 8 to 11. Don't forget that next Thursday. Christmas carols, and Santa Claus just walked in my house, as a matter of fact. He forgot his beard. Christmas carols, Santa Claus, everything going on at Denny's, old-fashioned Christmas this next Thursday from 8 to 11. Loot in the Boot to help the needy families in the area, and music, of course, by the lovely Ashley Ludlow. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you and yours have a wonderful, fantastic weekend leading up to the Christmas fun and all the festive cheer with your family this weekend. We'll be back next Monday at 8:06, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be, and the world needs more cowboys. God bless you. We'll see you Monday at 8:06.